a similar platform, which is about the empowerment of women. But I'm not just about the empowerment of women, because I believe that if we don't empower men to be empowered with women, it just doesn't work. And so I've been very privileged, just even this last week, to be engaged with something that's going on in Africa, where actually there's 6 presidents of African nations who are standing on a stage saying that they are inviting men to be positive in their masculinity and to end the violence against women and girls. Now, I think that is a fantastic mission. I think there's a lot that we can support our president and myself next year in understanding that it's all about all of us, not just about women. And interestingly, the latest thing that's come into my arena, and just so you know, that Faraz Pera, who is a past district governor in Rotary and also a member of our club, is my male partner in a platform called G100, which is looking at positive masculinity. But that our mission is now getting involved with something you might all know a lot about, which is football. And I've actually been introduced to a very leading man who's in touch with FIFA, and there is something called the red card campaigns. I would like you all to know this. Do you all know what the red card is on the football pitch? I hope so. I was in my early half of my life, when I was in England with my first husband, he was a fanatical football fan for Leeds United. I don't know whether you've heard of Leeds United. It's not as famous as Manchester United.
Of course, we've heard of them.
Yeah, I used to go to many football matches. I watched the World Cup back in 1966, because I am that old. And I think it's fascinating that football has come back into my life, because FIFA is backing a campaign called the Red Card Campaign. And this is on all about men's football, women's football, and ending violence against women and girls. So I'll put the link in the chat in a minute, but it's absolutely fascinating. And I only discovered this last week. So there is a major campaign. And if you think about football, actually, it's a very harmonious, competitive game for sure. But it is now true that women's football is making headlines, and that I think they've almost got to pay parity between famous women footballers and famous men footballers. And I'll come back with more information as I get to know more. But what's interesting is that it's literally a playing field where women and men can actually do as well as each other. So I think that's absolutely fascinating, because we don't get that in the corporate world, nor in the political world, and I won't get political. But so my mission as we go forward is that we all understand each other. We understand our differences. We understand our magical traits. We understand what we can do best. And I really applaud Marty for his leadership here. He's an outstanding, wise man, Marty, as all of you are. And I know Mike reasonably well. I'll get to know the rest of you as we go forward, and also you, the beautiful women on this call. But just to let you know that these things are changing in the world, because men are standing up to be counted to change the world. It's happening in Saudi, it's happening in Africa. Hopefully it's happening, dare I say, in the USA and the UK, because I come from the UK originally. But I just want to let you know that there is some major things happening, and I want to make that a glorious combination for our club. So we stand for harmony, for synergy, and for actually working together in the best way possible. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, President-elect Pauline Crawford, taking over our club. Nominations are also open right now in Rotary Club of Global Impact for elections this year. We are focused on our 2024 to 2025 election year. And I know there's a couple of people in as we speak. We do vote for Sergeant at Arms in our club, and we vote for the presidency. And as Dr. Rodriguez has mentioned to us, as one of the only few Rotarians on Earth, out of 1.4 million members and 46,000 clubs. He's one of the few Rotarians that's ever completed every single offering at Rotary University, the Rotary Education Center. I think it was some 1,400 studies that he's completed with certificates. But one of the things in Rotary now as a best practice that they're recommending is the treasurer and the secretary be for 3-year appointments and not create havoc by constantly having a different one coming in. So our secretary, Patty Frudenberg, was very apologetic. She had to go to a funeral today. She was very sorry. And our treasurer, Vincent, he spent about an hour with us yesterday for the Treasury report. I'll just say we post our balance sheet and our income statement online on our website. We also just shared it in the WhatsApp group, Friends of Rotary. So you'll see that. It's always a positive thing. I'm going to go ahead and get started today and put on the world anthem for us. And if you've never had a chance to enjoy this, you may be pretty surprised. Our world anthem for this club is called Smiles. I know a lot of people play the national anthem. If you go to Rotary Club in India or France or America or Russia or wherever you go, and yes, we have thousands and thousands of Rotarians in Russia. They play the national anthem. We have a world anthem. Okay, so let's put this puppy on.
Where is all the good news? Where's the helping hand? Where are all the smiles I used to see? They gotta be here somewhere. I think I'll take a look around. Maybe try to find some harmony. All the love we used to know, just too hard to find. Giving in to feelings of despair. World renewed is upside down. Fears replacing love. It hurts. No one seems to care. There's a smile that says hello. Another says goodbye. One that promises I'm giving you my heart. I've seen a smile convey I love you. I'm proud of who you are. One that keeps us close when we're apart. Walking from the darkness of all that we've been through. It seems that there might be a way to leave behind the loneliness we've known and live again life of hello. Another says goodbye. One that promises I'm giving you my heart. I've seen a smile convey I love you. I'm proud of who you are. And one that keeps us close when we're apart. Maybe it's hard. I'm thinking we've had conversations that end with let's agree. We may be a little closer than we think. finding our way home in harmony, finding our way to harmony, to the beauty and the joy of harmony.
Well, thank you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Again, I'm Marty Mangello, president of Rotary Club of Global Impact, here today with our president-elect, Dr. Pauline Crawford, and also our area governor, Peter Bagley, has stepped in. There's Peter. Welcome to our area governor for the Cleveland County region and area, Peter Bagley. Welcome, Peter. Yeah, thank you so much. I would like to jump right into today's guest presentation. We had a suggestion from our international treasurer in Canada, Vincent James, a few months back, that we do the presentation first and then do the business after. So today we have the great joy to see Helio Genomics present to us. And they are spread out all over the world as well. But coming to us from California. And Anupam, are you going to be presenting the main presenter today?
It'll actually be Justin Lee, who's our
I'll be
CEO.
presenting. Yes.
Okay, Justin Lee. And is Alex with your group also, Alex Brenner?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, fantastic. Welcome, Alex. I had welcomed you earlier, Mr. Justin Lee. And we were super happy to receive your guys' offering from one of our besties. He is a Rotarian and a Paul Harris Fellow. And Sean Chan out of British Columbia is well acquainted with you guys at Helio Genomics. He had recommended many months back that an early stage cancer detection company that's having a lot of success, and I think that he has invested in it. He wanted to really see a presentation for you guys. So that's how we became acquainted with you. Any quick comments before we get started here about Sean and your relationship with Sean?
I know, so the connection actually is just between Sean and myself. So prior to me, so Marty, my joining Helio, I've known Sean for some time prior. And so he and I have spoken before in the past. He's mentioned Rotary Club, and not long after I joined the company and discussing what the company is doing and working on as well. And then Sean said, well, I'm part of the Rotary Club, and this might be a really good group for you to talk about the company, talk about the strategy and whatnot. And then months later, here we are today, now finally with the opportunity. So very much appreciated.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we have done so much across the earth ourselves. We're in a race with the Carter Foundation to put an end to the second disease on Earth. I'm not sure who's going to win, Rotary International or the Carter Foundation, who is about this far away with 56 some cases of guinea worm disease left on this planet. 30 years of work. Rotary is no different. We got started in the 80s with this on polio, ending polio now. We're down to some 15 cases or less in 2 countries of Pakistan and, of course, Afghanistan. We get about 100 million per year from the Gates Foundation, who threw in the towel and said, it's not even worth it anymore for the Gates Foundation to try to create 1.4 million members with 46,000 offices, 35,000 offices. Bill said, whatever it is, I'm just going to give the 100 million to Rotary. So I went to a big End Polio Now Society meeting with one of our greatest benefactors, Tom Swift, on Saturday night at his house. It is our pleasure today to welcome Helio Genomics. Their founding principles are rooted in a desire to challenge the unknown. They harness the power of big data to make sense of how nature exists and evolves so that they can use that knowledge to understand how that affects us individually. They believe that their technology can change the world and how we view diseases on Earth. And first, by making cancer a non-threatening disease in life, saving millions of lives and reducing the heavy cost and emotional burden to society that cancer causes today. Without further ado, it is my honor to welcome Mr. Justin Lee.
Thank you so much, Martin, Dr. Pauline Crawford, and all of the Rotary Club. We're very excited to share more about Helio Genomics and what we're doing for cancer patients today on an educational basis. We think we are focusing on patients who are disproportionately affected by cancer and those who really need access. So it hopefully really aligns with Rotary Club's values. So let me share my screen, and I actually have a deck prepared.
Okay, super.
So let me know if everybody can see this.
Yes, we can see it here.
I can no longer see you guys, so hopefully just call out or something if you guys can't see this anymore. So we developed blood tests that will revolutionize cancer testing. So essentially, we want to make it easier to get cancer screening. Instead of getting a colonoscopy or an MRI or a mammogram, which can be not only expensive, but also invasive, but it could also be very inconvenient, taking another day off work, scheduling, dealing with the hospital lines, waiting rooms, and so on. So we foresee a world where we can bring the clinic to you, and we can even draw your blood at home, and you can get world-class diagnostic testing and know whether or not you have cancer. And hopefully you don't have cancer, and it's peace of mind. But if you do have cancer, you want to know as early as possible so that you can get that cancer treated with a higher degree of efficacy. So the problem of cancer is not unknown. Unfortunately, even though there's a high survival benefit to detecting cancer early, you can see as high as 13 or 14x for certain cancers. Most cancers are still being diagnosed in late stage. Typically, over half of cancer patients are diagnosed in stage 3 or stage 4, where they have actually a lot less chance of survival. They have less treatment options available to them. The treatments are actually more expensive. We're talking late stage drugs, as opposed to local regionalized therapies or resections or transplants and the like. So we saw this problem. We saw that the healthcare system was spending a lot of money on late stage drugs. And we saw that those drugs weren't really helping patients that much. They were only extending lifespans by maybe 3 months, 6 months, and so on. And we decided we wanted to tackle the problem of early diagnosis and preventative healthcare, and to be able to stack the odds in the patient's favor. So we're backed by some very heavy key opinion leaders, some world-class physicians and scientists. You see here just 3 of our hepatology panel talking about how the standard of care for liver cancer is very inadequate due to poor sensitivity, so poor accuracy in detecting cancer, and also operator dependency. So depending on the quality of the ultrasound technician as well as the radiologist, you may get a better or worse result, less or higher performance. So these hepatologists have been a great help and have advised the Helio liver test, and believe that such a blood test would truly change the game and be able to affect patients in a positive way. So our scientific differentiation can be boiled down into 3 categories. First of all, we are a heavy artificial intelligence and machine learning company. We hired some of the best computer scientists and machine learning specialists in the US. We also partnered with top institutions to develop our algorithms and our models. We're looking at large amounts of data, hundreds of thousands of patient samples, to be able to find patterns that are different between those with cancer and those without cancer. Eclipse is our wet lab platform. Eclipse has anything to do from receiving the sample in-house, extracting DNA from that sample, to preparing that sample for sequencing, and then sequencing that on an Illumina sequencer and looking at the data. So we've meticulously optimized this process to be high throughput, which translates to lower cost for patients in the healthcare system. as well as we've automated it so that there's less variability in the process and more precision in terms of results. And then we have MESA, which is multimodal epigenetic signatures, which is a combination of nucleosome positioning, fragmentation, and methylation in a single hybridization panel to be able to derive more richer biological insights and multidimensional data from the patient's genome to get a higher predictive ability for the test. So that's what we're looking at in terms of genomics. And then we also add proteomics to our test. So those are 4 types of features combined. We are one of the only multimodal multi-omics platforms in the liquid biopsy industry, which shows in our high performance of our test. So our first test is for liver cancer, more specifically hepatocellular carcinoma, the most common form of liver cancer. Our test is called Helio Liver, and our slogan or our mission is to catch cancer early when it counts the most. So the test itself is 77 cfDNA methylation sites in 3 proteins. We are taking 2 tubes of blood. We can provide results within 7 to 10 calendar days. And the test is 85% sensitive overall, 76% early stage, and 91% specific. And it looks like this collection kit, this box that's sent to your doctor's office. Your doctor will draw your blood and then send that kit back overnight to our laboratories, where we will process them and then provide the results to your physician and yourself as a patient in a secure portal. So our flagship clinical trial is called CLIMB, a 1,600 patient clinical study that's fully blinded. We have 45 hospitals and clinics that are involved. Stanford is the lead principal investigator. We also have Harvard, we have USC, we have Cleveland Clinic. We have some great institutions around the nation. It's 100% prospective, all comers. So patients who are enrolled are at high risk for developing liver cancer. They are in the enrollment. They are in the intended use category for patients who should be screened for liver cancer. 100% of patients are getting MRI as the clinical truth standard. And then we're comparing our test, Helio Liver, against ultrasound to see which one performs better, both in sensitivity and specificity. The clinical truth is blinded by an FDA audited CRO, and we're targeting to submit this to a publication, a high tier clinical journal early next year. Our second product is called Helio Colon for the detection of colorectal cancers. We're looking at 100 cfDNA methylation sites, as well as nucleosome positioning and fragmentation markers, and we're also adding proteomic components to the diagnostic algorithm. We're also looking at 2 tubes of blood and providing results within 7 to 10 days. It's 85% sensitive for colorectal cancer and 90% specific for the negative at-risk population, which happens to be anybody over 45 in the US. So our go-to-market strategy, we're actually commercial, so you can get the test today. We've signed a long-term collaboration and partnership with Fulgent Genetics, NASDAQ ticker FLGT. Fulgent is one of the largest pathological and genetic testing providers in the US. They're headquartered in Temple City, California, just a stone's throw away from our own campus. They have a very experienced in-house sales team as well as customer service team. They have relationships with the gastroenterologists as well as hepatologists that we're targeting. And they have commercial relationships with the top hospital systems in the US. They also have insurance contracts, payer contracts in network for over 300 million US lives. So that helps us get our tests reimbursed. And they have an in-house managed care and billing team that can deal with denials, appeals, and help that patient get their test paid. They also have large CLIA and CAP laboratory facilities located in California and Texas with massive next generation sequencing capacity. That capacity is what allows us to get the cost economics of our test down so that we can provide the test at a more accessible cost and price to the end consumer. Our commercial launch, we've soft launched at the beginning of this year. We're currently focusing on 70 top early access physician accounts. We are looking to achieve product market fit through a feedback loop. We're really trying to understand how these physicians like to get results delivered, how they like to send in the collection kit if there's any logistics issues. And so far, the feedback has been very constructive and also very, very positive. So the test, as we've heard, has already saved the lives of multiple patients anecdotally. These patients were diagnosed negative with ultrasound and then diagnosed positive with our test, and later on were found to have early stage hepatocellular carcinoma and were able to get treated. And that's really why we do what we do to save those patients. We do plan a full launch in the first half of 2024, along with our FDA approval. The CLIMB study will be submitted again early next year, and we'll await a favorable approval from the FDA. We've already received a CPT code from the American Medical Association, which would really be the first step to getting reimbursement for the test on a wider and broader scale, and be able to get this out to the masses. And we're focusing on solving pain points for the physician, the patient, as well as the payer. We know they're all very important in the value chain, and we need to provide a value proposition to all of them to align their interests and make this test successful and get it out to the patients who need it the most. And we are focusing on the top target geographies. The top 10 states in the US for hepatocellular carcinoma represent about 80% of cases. So this is highly geographically concentrated. It's driven by underlying risk factors like liver cirrhosis, hepatitis, fatty liver disease, alcoholism, drug use, and we can definitely help a lot more people if we focus on the dense, geographically dense areas. The Helio liver workflow. First, we would identify a patient, or the physician would identify a patient. The physician would draw, or have the nurse or the phlebotomist draw the blood of the patient. The sample would then be processed in our lab. We would bill insurance, and then we would provide the test results back to the physician, who would decide how to follow up with the patient. Typically, if the test is negative, that patient would be followed in 6-month increments and continue to take the test, just like they would currently with standard of care ultrasound. And if the test is positive, then the physician would go on to diagnostic imaging, i.e. MRI, and then use MRI to stage the cancer, as well as to decide what the next stage in treatment is. Hopefully it's an early stage cancer, and they could do a resection or ablation or maybe even a transplantation, as opposed to a late stage cancer where they're going to have to be on drugs or chemotherapy or palliative care. So healthcare costs in America ballooning has been a very hot topic of late, and it's something that's near and dear to our hearts. I've already mentioned a couple times throughout the presentation that we try to focus on accessibility and providing the test universally. I think this slide kind of sums it up. The cost implications of finding patients who are early stage cancer and treating them with less expensive yet more efficacious treatment methods is very significant and covers any associated costs of the test itself. So, we can really save the healthcare system a lot of money by keeping people healthy. It's a fact that is known but often overlooked. We're really trying to change that trend and that culture in America and bring health to more people. The team, we have a very strong management team and leadership team. We have a lot of experience in the biotechnology and diagnostics industries, starting with Dr. Xu Li, who is the founder and chairman for the company. He's a Harvard PhD in artificial intelligence. He's a 4-time founder Cellular Biomedicine Group, which went public on NASDAQ in 2014, WA Health Centers, which was sold to a NASDAQ traded company, and then several other companies that have been started with successful exits. Myself, I should have probably introduced myself at the beginning, but Justin Chen Lee, I am the CEO of the company, and my background is in biotech and genomics for several years. I also co-founded another startup called Slightly Health, which went through the Skydeck Accelerator. I'm a venture advisor at the SC Master Fund, which is backed by the top 50 corporate CEOs in Southern California. It invests in seed to early stage ventures as well as VCs. And I have various experience in finance positions in Fortune 500s and business school at UC Berkeley. I won't go through every person here, but Dr. David Taggart is our CSO, our Chief Scientific Officer. He manages the laboratory. He's our laboratory director. He holds patents in cancer therapeutics as well as diagnostics. And he's just a phenomenal scientist and leader on our team. Anupam Bedi is on the call. Anupam has experience from startup to end phase for biotech and med device companies, and have made those companies very successful in leading their regulatory strategies in FDA affairs. Alex Brenner, who's also on the call, has experience in various Fortune 50 and 500 companies in finance, and also did a stint at Code.org, which is a phenomenal nonprofit organization for software coding. We have, obviously a lot of other great people on the team. Not enough time to share on everybody, but we'll certainly be happy to introduce members of the team to anybody who's interested in learning more. Just a couple of medical advisory and scientific advisory members. Dr. Rick Van Etten is our chief medical advisor. He's the director of the Cancer Center at UC Irvine, and has been really actively involved in our project from day one. Dr. Mindy Nguyen is the director of hepatology at Stanford. She's our lead principal investigator, and she's just a phenomenal asset, a super smart hepatologist and key opinion leader, helping design our trials and helping to come up with the market case and the clinical need case for patients in the field. Dr. Jinji Hu is our chief regulatory officer. Previously was a lead in vitro diagnostics review chair at the FDA, and brings to us decades of experience in the regulatory field. And I think that sums it up. We'll keep it to a brief 15 to 20 minute presentation, and we're happy to take questions.
Well, thank you so much, Justin and team. I'll kick off the questions and welcome others. It took us so long in the Preventive Medicine Research Institute to get approved by Medicaid, Medicare, and it took, I think, a lot shorter time through Blue Cross Blue Shield for our programs with Dr. Ornish. And how do you guys see yourself aligning with the largest genomic database on earth with Ann Wojcicki at 23andMe? Is there any movement or friendship there that may occur?
Yeah, it's a great question. So the data points that we're looking at are different than the single nucleotide polymorphisms that 23andMe or Ancestry DNA are looking at. So there's not a ton of alignment in terms of novel biomarkers and what we're looking at for cancer. Ancestry and 23andMe are looking at more genes that are associated with ancestry, of course, or maybe at most cancer risk, which can tell you if you have, BRCA1, BRCA2, or some kind of gene that increases your propensity to develop cancer. Whereas we are looking at novel biomarkers, methylation biomarkers that are not in literature, have not been seen before, and we're really paving the road and pioneering the way for those markers to actually detect cancer and to be associated with the presence of a tumor.
Thank you so much, and congratulations on your award from Frost & Sullivan this month. I'll kick
Thank
it
you
off
very
to
much.
the next person with a question. Dr. Mike, you're not going to jump in there.
But I feel like that really, really cool technology. And I love the fact that it could not only save lives, but, cut the healthcare costs down, which is a huge problem. Huge problem. Excellent work. I'm excited to see what you guys do.
Thank you, Aaron. We appreciate that.
It really is. Genomics expert, Dr. Mike Rodriguez.
First of all, I see we have an alum here from Johnson & Johnson. I did my research in biological pathogens in Harbor Branch Oceanographic Institute, which was part of Johnson & Johnson. I had a great time. They had to kick me out of the laboratory. I loved it so much. My question to you gentlemen is, as we look at the phases of approval, I recognize that our government at times has the ability to speed up and slow down the 4 steps in the approval process. Have you taken advantage of that at all?
Yeah, so we've done things like applied for and were awarded with the FDA breakthrough designation, which gives us priority in terms of review from the government. We're also taking advantage of any additional kind of pathways, regulatory pathways, to speed up the process. Luckily, on the device side and the diagnostic side, the review process is a bit faster than on the drug side. So we don't have to go through 3 phases. It's a single trial, and we're looking at under a year to get formal feedback from them and an approval. Thank you, Dr. Rodriguez. Good question.
Any other takers? I'll just throw this out there then for the team. Any work with NASA, as a White House chef myself, we're trying to figure out how to grow food better in space and take care of people on the long mission to Mars and then the Mars colony right now. So I'm also thinking medicine, when you get there, it's difficult. Any work with NASA or in space, SpaceX, anybody right now?
No work in NASA or space, but that's a very interesting thought. I mean, people in Mars will need healthcare as well. So I'm not sure I'm that challenge, but we're happy to be a part of it. And SpaceX is right here in our backyard as well in Hawthorne. So
that's right. And it's weird the things you discover when you do experiments in space that unlock different things. So we're so proud of you guys and what you're doing in Rotary International. We applaud you, and I see a couple of people at least clapping their hands. Thank you so much for joining us today. And this is streaming live across 8 different channels in 205 countries and territories on Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, and 5 channels on Facebook. Thank you so much, Justin. Keep up the great work.
Thank you so much, Martin and team. Really appreciate it. Take care.
We are now going to shift into 1 Minute of Love with Desiree Richardson in London. Desiree, if you're ready, please give us a report on the Women of Heart Awards and what you're doing, and also 1 Minute of Love.
Thank you so much, Marty. It's always a great pleasure to be here every Tuesday, almost every Tuesday or twice a month, where we bring you live broadcast. And as a proud Rotarian, I am honored to be here and to serve. Recently, we just had the Face of War competition, and this is a platform to empower women. So we invite women from all across the world to join us to help heal the world through speech, because we believe words are powerful, whether written or spoken. And over the weekend, we found our new Face of Woha, who will be sharing her powerful message with the world on November 12th here in London at the prestigious Leonardo Royal Hotel. And Women of Heart Awards, it's a celebration among diverse women from all across the world who exemplify the humanitarian world. and whose hearts are the beating drums of love, compassion, and kindness. And we want to tell their stories because we believe that every woman's story is equally worth celebrating. And of course, they are unique. And we want to inspire the world to do more greatness, more goodness. And we also want to highlight many women and men who are the foundation of the caring industries. And of course, we have the Gentlemen of Heart Awards, which is a beautiful organization also created to dedicate uh, this amazing work that men are doing to help heal the world as well. And these are inspiring global men who reflect these traits of authenticity, great leadership traits. We call them men of virtue, virtuous men. And we want to highlight their work because we believe, like I said just now, that men are the foundation of humanity. And we also want to encourage our young men in our generation of young boys to also lead in grace and be virtuous young men in the next generation of young boys. So also we openly invite everyone to take part and to join us in London for this amazing award ceremony, which will be taking place once again on the 12th of November. So today we want to talk about why we should lead with love. I believe when we open our heart to understand that love is the answer, and with love, I think this is the way forward because it's not about the love of power, but the power of love, which is vital. And this is what we need in our world today. When we work from the heart space, we are channeling good energy. And when we share that out with the world, we are making a difference because love is a beautiful energy. It's a high frequency that is so beautiful when we all can operate and generate this energy to not only keep it to ourselves, but when we spread that, that is amazing. But also when we learn to love ourselves and to work from the heart center, the heart chakra, that is the most powerful and beautiful thing that the world needs at the moment. Because only through love, we can move mountains in the world. We can make a huge difference, but we need every one of us to work from that space, and that is the heart. And that is so important in today's world. So, everyone, I urge you to continuously believe that love is the answer. Love is a universal language that the world needs. And let's continue to put love in all we do. When love wins, the world wins. Thank you.
Well, absolutely. Thank you so much. Each of you know that I love you, and we're also
You too.
so happy to have so many new members join. I know you've been seeing them on WhatsApp coming in left and right as we welcome them and present them, and so we're just super thankful for that as well. We have had some weeks as many as 3 members join per week. So it's been just terrific. And here comes Sean out of British Columbia. Sean, hope you're doing great today. Also, Mark Jarrett had a special message for everybody from London, our international membership chairperson. He's been so thankful to have Megan visiting from actually Miss Texas from Texas. And they've been having a great time. If you follow along with Mark's antics, and they were out at Clacton-on-Sea this weekend. We additionally heard from other members in Kiev. They did receive the big Rotary shipment on Friday. They were going through everything with our members there, Katarina Shirikova and Faraj Gilyadov. This was a massive mega shipment. I was explaining this morning in the family office meeting that this is hard work, because you'll typically see in these videos that we put out, and I did put them out on WhatsApp, but young men unloading 50-pound, 80-pound sacks of flour, grain, rice. It's not like we have a forklift that can pull up on the street in Kiev and have a loading dock unloading things. This is backbreak work, and you'll watch them going back and forth. So this now is the fourth 18-wheeler in Europe. They're called a semi-trailer truck. Took about 2 weeks to figure out that difference, but this is the fourth 18-wheeler that we have been fortunate in Rotary to arrange, and we have Piotr Jankowski from the Warsaw District 2231 to thank for this one, and our Rotarians in Kiev. I have a nice video, in fact, that we can take a look at with the report from Kiev if you want to see what we're doing and what it really looks like. I'm going to put this on. This is a little shorty that they sent this morning. It looks like it's about 54 seconds. Let me make sure everybody can get this audio as well. And I just think a lot of times that seeing is believing, seeing is really believing. So let me see if I can get lucky and share this tab, gang. Okay, let me see. I may have to do it as a share my entire screen, which I'm not really thrilled about. So I'm going to check and make sure everybody can get this audio. I'll stop it for a second. Okay. All right. Let me put this on and make sure that you guys are getting some audio over there. Is anybody able to hear that? The little bit of music?
Not yet, Martin.
Okay, I think maybe just the video is going to come through then on that. So let me pause that. It's having a little bit of a challenge sharing that particular tab. It may not like that tab. Istiak, you're still up?
Yeah, of course. Sorry, I'm having some net issues, which is why my video is off.
Oh, no, it's fine. You were in the family office meeting this morning. Do you mind giving a little brief about what's going on in Ukraine?
Yeah, so I think we all see the news and what's going on in Ukraine. There's a lot of obviously, we just supplied the $100,000 worth of shipment to Ukraine, and our friends there, Katerina and Faraz, are in the process of distributing it right now, I think. And but most of the when we get to the family office, all right, one of the things we have discovered is that there's a lack of funding coming from anywhere else but the Rotary. Okay, it seems that it's getting, the winter's coming in. They're out of there's no electricity, there's no heating. It's they are right now looking for certain necessities, I'd say, like blankets and whatnot, right? I'm sorry, I'm blanking on a couple of the words, a couple of the
blankets
things,
was a big one. Yeah, wood for fire and fuel. Any way to create heaters. Yeah. I think the problem is if you don't have electricity, it's pretty difficult.
Yeah, that's the biggest issue right now. So it's a grim situation still. Obviously, it is under illegal occupation at the moment, and but we are trying to put something together. I was speaking to one of the family office members there, Libyam, and me and him are hopefully going to touch base afterwards, figure out what he wants to see happen. His mother is still there, by the way, and we want to make sure that we do what we can to support them in whatever capacity. We have done so from the beginning, and we will keep on doing so, for as long as this continues. And even afterwards, if there's anything we can do after post-war, we'll do that as well.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. So please see that video when you have time. It's in the WhatsApp group, and we're going to have to download that. We've completed that, but probably help them in Ukraine by uploading it to YouTube. Moving into the treasurer's report, We did send that out today. It'll go up onto the website live. We like to put it out for 24 hours. Our treasurer, Vincent James, prefers that it be online for 24 hours for the leaders to review only in case there are any questions. We do that every month, the balance sheet, and of course, the income statement. Right now, we have at Bank of America on file $2,830. And you'll see our receivables and total asset accounts. Also, the club retained earnings and our net income with total liabilities and equity. That did include, of course, we went ahead and finished up for September's financials. We do that every month, and that's all monitored by the secretary as well. And we typically invite Dr. Pauline and the chairperson of the foundation, Dr. Mike. Anybody that wants to watch reconciliation of a bank account, they can monitor and watch us do that live online. And we did that with DAC-DB as well, Miss Heather Brandt. So the reconciliation for September is done. Big things in there. We had to do journal entries, the $250 refund check that we received from District 7680. They sent out some refund checks on a mistake that was made to every club. We did move into a top 20 club now with 37 members. We're in the top 20. Our goal is still to crack the top 10 and become a top 10 club for membership and member retention and member happiness. And the last thing I would mention is that $150 that was donated. That was done in the name of Florida, Puerto Rico, Pakistan. Florida was an additional donation, but also Pakistan and Ukraine. That money was also accounted for. On Saturday night, I went to the Polio Society dinner at Tom Swift's house with his wife, Paula. That was a wonderful event. I put the photos up. They had a big wine auction. Stormy and I donated $100 for that. We made sure that when we do that we did it at Rotary.org. Okay. And even Tom is smart enough to warn people. If you want to join the Polio Society, make sure you go to Rotary.org, sign in, log in, password, and any donation you do it there, because that adds up towards your Paul Harris Fellowship. And that also adds up and gives Mike credit and the district credit for money coming in to Rotary Foundation. With that, I would like to turn it over to Rotary Foundation chairperson for Rotary Club of Global Impact, Dr. Mike Rodriguez, to give us a brief on how he sees things in the foundation.
Great. Thank you, Martin. Couple things. As you know, the last time we spoke, ladies and gentlemen, we talked about forming either a DAFT or an endowment within our club. Good news, I did hear from a couple people that I will be following up with, and then we will be discussing how we're going to organize that. One thing that I will mention is that, of course, we will bring it also up, Martin, in executive session when we get close to talking to these individuals. Because some of them, of course, are quite eager to participate, but ask for anonymity. You could understand that, and we respect that. So we're it's kind of exciting if you think about it, what we'll be able to do with that, and being able to, let's say, have our own fund that we can draw from. My perspective very quickly is that we would allow that fund to grow, and then the profits from that fund we could redirect into projects, Rotary of Global Impact, as Martin says, making sure that our club is recognized for it directly. And one of the things that I did learn from one of the other clubs that I was a member of is how they use that to the advantage of the club members. And what I mean by that is having them recognized as Paul Harris Fellows down the road there. And we'll see about getting that structured. And when we do, we'll post it on WhatsApp or bring it back up in the meeting. So I do see it being part of the conversation in executive session, Martin. But really, I was quite amazed by, I'm amazed by the club every day, to tell you the truth. But everyone, I should tell you, keep in mind that is very important. If the club is to get credit through the Rotary Foundation, Martin is correct. Please, please, please log into Rotary.org and make your donation. Get past the password. I just did it last night, to be honest with you, to mark that special event of Rotary for the year. And then when there comes an opportunity, and I have not seen it yet, we're a young club, and Dolly, you would attest to this, where sometimes they do matching funds. So we'll keep our ears open, and when that opportunity does rise, I'll bring it to the club. Back to you, Martin.
Yeah, thank you. So that, I think, is pretty much all the old business. Am I forgetting any old business, anybody? Okay, then I'll open the floor to new business. Any unannounced new business that somebody wants to throw onto the agenda immediately? All right, no new business then. As far as invocation today, we have had several peace presentations offered by Nicolay Sapala. He's doing actually one every day. If you're not getting his feed, he has a worldwide peace presentation from people all over the earth. He wasn't able to join us today as our international chaplain with a world invocation. So I'll just end today and thank Dolly for joining us and ask her if she would do some type of wonderful breathing with us. You all know that Dolly is a magician when it comes to feeling good. And I'll throw it over to Dolly Parikh, the president of our twin club. Dolly, are you there today in Silicon Valley?
Yes, thank you, Marty. And it is always a pleasure to be part of this club and join your meetings. It's just super, super uplifting and inspiring to see all the great work that happens all over the world with all the Rotarians over here. So thank you for inviting me. I would ask all of you to give a moment to close your eyes and take a minute to go inwards. You may close your eyes, take a deep breath in, and breathe out. The incoming breath energizes the body, and the outgoing breath relaxes the body. Again, breathing in and breathe out. Become aware of your environment, the sounds around you. Becoming part of it. Become aware of your body. Let's become aware of our thoughts, the feelings, and let them be. Take a deep breath in and let go. You are peace. You are joy. You are love. And as you become aware of yourself, let us spread this love for each and every being on this world, because we are a one world family. Breathing in and let go. And whenever you feel ready, you may open your eyes in love.
Well, thank you, Dolly. Can you let us know? We saw you up on stage over there in California. What is going on?
So I was presenting at the Rotary Club of San Jose. I was invited there by a fellow Rotarian from the Miller Center at the Santa Clara University.
Oh,
And I was not expecting this because we are an e-club. Our club meetings normally are very small, and in fact, I would be honest, hardly existent. But I do come up to this meeting and we see everybody in a box. But when you walk into a meeting like that with 400, 500 people, and the most amazing thing was I was fairly impressed because I go into the meeting and in the parking lot, I was on level 4. And as I walked towards the elevator, it said, the Rotary Summit is on level 7. You may want to go to the north parking. And I'm like, wow, even the signs were all over the building. And then the elevator had a Rotary logo on the 7th floor. And I'm like, this is impressive. This is super impressive. I had not experienced this. And then I go to the 7th floor and it is humongous. And they had the mayor's debate right after my presentation. And that was fairly impressive. I was not prepared mentally for presenting to about 400, 500 people. But my presentation did include like the aspect about cities for peace, which is something I would love to present at this Rotary Club if I get a chance. It's a 10-minute presentation, but it was lovely, and just to be able to see all these people and meet with them and see how much involved we are in our civic discourse is very, very heartwarming.
Amazing. Amazing. Well, I leave you guys today with this thought. Mike, one final question.
Yes, I wanted to tell Ambassador Kojo I was following him on his journeys, which was quite amazing. Keep up the good work, Dr. Kojo.
Yeah. He needs to present next year for a whole show on what he's doing in the world.
Yes.
We have room for you in April. Yeah. I will leave you guys today with a perfect note in G7. And thank you for joining us again. Take care.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Hey, goodbye, everyone.
Well, guys, that was another successful meeting. Thank you for joining us. And we feel very privileged to have Helio Genomics present with us. And that was all courtesy of Sean Chan. Super nice of him to bring one of his financial interests to Rotary International. We've had so many successes in the world, with ending polio and getting it down, very, very, very low. Also, thank you today from Morocco, Sanaa Berbachri, for joining us today, and Gunter Gillot from Belgium. Great to see you, Gunter. Thank you for popping in. Shanur from Bangladesh, where Istiak lives. And, of course, our prayers for Nazrin Jahan. She needs our prayers right now as she continues to request that people think about her and pray for her in the universe. And also, we had Shamim Khan mentioned. He was from Bangladesh as well. Happy Diwali to everyone who is celebrating Diwali, and we hope to catch you soon. See you for the next episode. We will be back again in 2 weeks with another edition of Rotary Club of Global Impact. And it's always, always our pleasure to present to you. Thank you so much, and hope you have a fantastic Halloween. For those of you who are celebrating Halloween, it's coming up here. It's not that far away, so I think we got, the week to go. The big question has been who's celebrating Halloween Saturday night. Are people going to do that? And I think honestly, what's going to happen is people are just going to do the Halloween holiday Monday night. So take care. Have a great one.
When people ask us who we are, we tell them we're problem solvers, opportunity creators, and change makers. We are Rotary. Around the world, our network of 1.4 million neighbors, friends, and leaders volunteer their skills and resources to solve issues and address community needs. Take action with us. Find out more at rotary.org/action.